that certain topics of discussion may not be comfortable for all listeners. Certain viewpoints may not reflect those of our partners, sponsors, affiliates, our hosts, or that of our guests. We would like to encourage everybody to keep a respectful and open climate of discussion for all topics, no matter how disturbing they may be. So viewer discretion is advised.
It does not matter where you stand, nor what it is you feel is grand. Magic is all around. Magic is never gone, and it is more than you will ever know. Entrust us, entrust her. For here you will find that the lost magics have never disappeared.
Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's show with the Lost Magics. I am Sherry Brett. Tonight I am going to be hosting a Halloween special where we're going to be doing some very spooky stories and some spooky experiences. I do have two lovely guests joining me tonight. We have got lovely Curtis and Dana to come up. I will first start off with a couple of stories, and then it will go to Dana. She will come up and do her experiences and things that have gone on. And then Curtis will come up and do some of his stories. I've got some videos to also share to do with him as well. Then it will go back to me doing a few more horror stories myself. And then we will see if anyone's got anything to say in the chat. See if any of you have had any spooky experiences to write in the room that we can read out. And then the show will end, guys. So we hope that you are in for a really amazing night tonight. Big shout out to Chris and Dakota for allowing this show again, to all of our sponsors and supporters, to everybody that comes and supports us every day, including you, my angels in the room. So I hope you enjoy the show. If we could have the guests. So we've got Jana and we have got Curtis. So as I said, I will start off with a few spooky stories. As you can see, I've got my place looking very Halloween-y, as well as Jana. She's got some beautiful stuff, and obviously Curtis has got some really cool looking flashing eyes and on a skeleton. She's got a little pumpkin, so cute. So yes, we're definitely in the Halloween spirit. So would you guys like to say anything to the guys quickly? Would you like to say hello?
Hello and happy Halloween.
Hi, happy Samhain to all of you.
Yes, happy Samhain. Right, so I'm going to get into... Hello, Drew. How are you? Let's just see who's in the room quickly so we're not being rude. We have got Honda. Hello. Drew. Hello. Obviously, Bold and Bonkers is in the room as well. Please, guys, can I ask you just to share out the show as well so people know that we're on? That would be awesome.
Hey,
Magic.
Bayless.
Oh,
that's
cool.
My husband in there.
Awesome. Hello. Nice to meet you. Right, so what we'll start off is with me doing a couple of stories just to break the ice, because I know that they're both a little bit nervous about being up, which is understandable. Super pumpkin. That is awesome. Right. So, my first strange and spooky story is called Stranger Danger. Stranger Danger is a story text message story about a boy named Colby who makes a new friend online. It is based on a short story by the author R.D. Ovenfriend. Dad. Hey, son. Son. Hey, Dad. What is it now? Dad, sorry, I can't be there. I was delayed on business. It's only for one night. I'll be home tomorrow. Are you sure you're okay on your own? I could still get a babysitter to come over. Son. I don't need a babysitter. I'm 10. I can take care of myself. Are you sure? It can be scary spending the night alone. Son, yeah, I'm sure. Dad, well, it's past your bedtime. Girl. How about I tell you a bedtime story? Sigh, if you must. Something's wrong. Is this going to be another stupid, scary story? What? I thought you liked my stories. Maybe when I was a little kid, but then not so scary now. All right, I'll see you. You get it. So now you're 10, you're a big man, all grown up and nothing to scare you anymore. Well, your stories are kind of lame. Sorry, Dad, just being honest. If you're going to tell a scary story, you'll need to make sure it's really scary. I see. Well, there is this one story I could tell you, but I don't know. It might be a bit too scary. I can handle it. Okay, here we go. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Colby. The start is like a fairy tale. Bear with me. This boy named Colby used the internet a lot. He joined a lot of websites. He started talking to other kids online. He made friends with another boy named Stranger Danger 23. They liked the same movies and TV shows. They played games together online. They chatted and laughed at each other's jokes. Then they got married and lived happily ever after the end. Not quite. After they had been friends for a few months, Stranger Danger heard that Colby's birthday was coming up. Since they were best friends, Stranger Danger 23 wanted to see him send him a cool present. He asked Colby for his home address. Colby was hesitant at first. He thought about it for a while. He knew he has known the Stranger Danger 23 for a long time. So he figured it wouldn't hurt to give him his address. As long as he promises not to give it to anyone else. Stranger Danger 23 swore he wouldn't. So Colby gave him the address and Stranger Danger 23 said he would mail the package right away. Did you think that was a good idea? The son goes, probably not. Well, after a while, neither did Colby. The boy had second thoughts and giving out his address, especially to someone he didn't really know. His parents had always told him not to do that. He felt nervous and guilty about it. The fear and the guilt grew and grew until they were gnawing away at him. By bedtime the next night, he decided to tell his parents what he had done. They would probably be angry, they might even punish him, but it would be worth it to put his mind at ease. He lay in his bed as he waited for his parents to come upstairs to tuck him in. Colby lay there in darkness and listened. He listened to all of the noises through the house, the humming of the refrigerator in the kitchen, the sound of the TV in the living room, the cries of his baby brother in his next room, the soft patter of rain outside, the scraping of branches against his window. This story is putting me to sleep. But there were some other noises he couldn't quite account for. Finally, he heard his dad's footsteps coming upstairs. Hey, Dad, Colby called out nervously. Can I talk to you a minute? In the darkness, he saw the bedroom door slowly creak open. His dad stuck his head through the doorway. Yes, son, said his dad in a muffled voice. Are you okay, Dad? The boy asked. Yes, son, his dad replied. Is Mum around? Here I am, said his mum in a high-pitched voice. She stuck her head through the doorway as well. What do you want to tell us? She asked. I think I made a big mistake, said Colby. I accidentally gave our address to someone on the internet. Oh, you should have done that, said his mum. We told you never to do that. Who did you give it to? Asked his dad. This kid named Stranger Danger 23, said Colby. Oh, but he wasn't really a kid, said his mum. He just pretended to be a kid to fool you. And do you know what he did? He broke into our house and murdered both of us, just so he could spend some time with you. Oh, God. All of a sudden, the door opened wide. A fat man in a yellow raincoat stood in their doorway. He was holding something in his hands, the severed heads of Colby's mum and dad. Colby gasped and let out a screech of terror. The man dropped the heads on the floor and took out his knife. No, 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 Dad. After several hours, the boy was almost dead. His terrified scream had become pitiful whimpers. Then the killer noticed something. He heard the baby crying in the bedroom. He bent down and pulled the knife out of the body mess that he had once been Colby. Then he turned and followed to the sound of the baby's cry. When he got to the nursery, he walked up to the crib. He picked up the baby and held it in his arms. The baby stopped crying. It looked up at him and smiled. The man had never held a baby before. He stroked the baby's cheek. He walked out of the nursery and took the baby with him. He took the baby home and raised him as his own son. He named him William. Son, but Dad, my name is William. I know it is, son. Son? William? You still there, son? Was that story scary enough for you? Want to hear another? LOL. Sleep tight, son. That is a pretty creepy one. Like, never ever talk to strangers on the internet, guys. Because really, seriously, like, especially if you've got make sure if you've got kids and that, make sure you're always like watching them and what they're doing and that, because they don't really know who they're talking to, and there are some very dangerous and strange people in this world, and they will most definitely try to pretend to be something that they're not. That is a pretty creepy one. I wouldn't say it's the most creepiest, but it's all about a bit of the chilly thing and feeling a bit of a chill going up your spine. So yeah, that gave me a bit of the chills. Obviously, didn't sound like three different people talking. It was the same voice. I'm not very good at acting out in that way. I could do another one, or do you want to go on to one, Jana? Would you like to go on to your story, or would you like me to do another story? Sweetheart, you're muted.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Yeah, I probably could go ahead and do it because it's like 4:40.
Yeah, no, we'll put yours on then. Chris, if you could put her up so that she can do a little story on that. I am still here. You can hear me. So over to Jana.
Well, Halloween greetings to everyone. I'm Jana. I just wanted to kind of tell an experience when I was about 11 years old. Now I live in the deep South here in North America. And when I was about 11 years old, my parents sent me off to Girl Scout camp. It's a local camp here. A lot of the girls go there. I don't really want to say the name on here because we don't know people on the internet, right? Anyways, when I was really young, I used to be really brave. I always had to be the best at swimming and the best at feel like I had to protect all my friends and things. And when I got to our cabin, I would like to say it was 13, but I don't remember the name. It was an overnight camp. You stay for a week. When we got into the cabin, all of the girls were so scared they did not want to sleep by the door. We're in the woods, but there was a hole underneath of one of the bunks. Little metal cots, just not bunk beds, but just cot beds. And there was a big hole, probably about this big at the foot of one of the beds. And so me being the bravest one, I was like, I will sleep by the door with the bed with the hole underneath of it. Okay, so you guys can sleep in the other ones. Well, later that same night, it was the first night there. We went on a scavenger hunt in the woods. And of course, it was just a cutesy thing. All of the cabin counselors had hidden these glow sticks on the trail. And they said that the Winks were these special fairy people who lived out in the woods of the Girl Scout camp. And that if we found all the, sticks or whatever, we'd get a special prize from the Winks that night. Well, my cabin found a lot of glow sticks. And I think we actually got all of them. So we'll skip on ahead till it's late in the evening. And my camp counselor is telling us some story of how she was born in a hurricane. I was writing a letter to my parents with a flashlight and all the lights were out. And this was back in the, mid 90s. So we didn't have electronics and nobody had cell phones out or anything. But
Definitely not.
I heard a noise at the foot of the bed. Like I said, they were metal and it was kind of this kind of noise. And I had my duffel bag sitting right at the foot of the bed. And I started to look up because in front of me, and you didn't think I think there was like 8 other girls in my cabin, we're all in just this big room. And I look up and floating above me, like in front of me, is this figure in an all black cloak. It had skeleton hands like a person. They were like long bony fingers, and the whole inside was just like looking into blackness. And I looked up and it had like a dog's face that was a skull. And it had like this black looking hair, like it looked real dry and brittle, and it was just sticking everywhere, and it had no eyes in the sockets. I don't know what the creature was. All I know is I was looking at it and I put my flashlight on it and it was there. And I screamed bloody murders. I mean, I was an 11-year-old girl, and everyone in the cabin looked over at me and it was gone. Nobody saw it. I swear it came through the hole in the floor of the cabin. And the worst thing about this creature is that I've seen it on several occasions throughout my life, usually in a reflection. And I saw it one time with the eyeballs just sitting into their sockets, like just the eyeballs with like the sinew and all of the vessels and stuff showing. And I'm pretty sure what I saw, because around here is a lot of Native American legends and things. And I don't even want to say this out loud, and just advise to everyone, you should never say this out loud because it can, without protections and stuff. But I'm pretty sure what I saw was the spirit of a Wendigo.
I was about to say that. Was it a W? I was just
right,
going to say a W.
SW. I'm just saying for the viewers, but also known as a skinwalker.
Yeah.
And I think that may be because it's a company with a bad smell, and it's pretty scary. And I've had lots of experiences like this with different things before anyone ever watched the show Supernatural, which tends to give a lot of fake ghost hunters. But anyways, it was very scary, and I really just wanted to be able to share that experience with you guys. And if y'all are interested in wanting to know what that is, I don't know if I can come on later with you, Sherry. Maybe we can talk about those, or they can look them up on Google.
I normally have a show for just over an hour, so by the time you get back, I may be finished. But
we can just on another occasion, possibly
we can do it on another occasion where we can talk about what Wendigos were. Because I was actually going to be doing a show in a couple of weeks to do about Wendigos and stuff like that, because I have actually got a Native American partner. So,
I'm a 16th Native American myself. So yes, it was very scary, and I wanted to just let everyone know that. Stay safe out there. Wear your protections, because there are things out there.
They are real.
They're looking for someone to scare, to scare you. And then I was going to tell one more experience, just a little shorter, but one night in the dark, late evening, me and my husband like to stay up and watch movies. He always falls asleep before I do. The neighborhood I live in is haunted. The whole neighborhood. A murder happened here in the late 70s. And the neighbor had told me about this, and she said, "Oh yeah, the whole neighborhood's haunted. Have you seen the little girl yet?" And I said, "No, but I did detect a little girl here." Well, she told me that she was standing at my kitchen counter one night, but as her friend used to live here, and she was doing dishes, and that she had looked over into the plate window on the side of the house, and that there was a little girl standing there looking at her. And she said she saw her, and she looked at her, and then she looked up, and then she was gone. She had looked behind her thinking it was her daughter's reflection. Well, let me tell you, my friend must not get scared at all, because I was in here standing at the kitchen counter by the sink as she had been. And I was going to eat some cookies and milk. So I turned to the refrigerator and I grabbed out the milk gallon and I turned around and I went to pour the milk in a glass. And I had already had like a sleeve of Oreos or something ready. And I turned around and I seen something in the window. It was this skeletal, ghostly, like it almost looked like smoke. And it had this dark, the eyes were like big and dark, and it had like sunk cheeks. It looked like a woman wearing a bride's veil or like a bridal look to it. And it was looking in the window at me. And I saw it. And when I see things like that, I just try to kind of, I look away or just act like it's not there. That's always been my strategy every time I've ever seen something like that, just kind of walk away from it unless I'm looking for it. And so that didn't work. Whatever was looking at me through the glass, I felt my whole body just froze when I turned away from it. And I swear it felt like someone ran and hit me from behind. And I was filled with the most sick feeling, just this deep, sick feeling inside of my guts. And I was so scared. I took off. I'm a 35-year-old woman. I took off running out of my kitchen and I ran down the hallway and jumped into the bed with my husband and started to cry. There's a monster. There's a monster. There's a monster. And I messaged Dakota and told him about it, and he gave me some things to help. But yes, again, there are some scary things out there.
Oh, there most definitely is.
And I hope everyone has a happy Halloween. And thank you for having me come on and share my experiences.
And thank you for coming in and joining us and sharing those scary experiences.
Thank you, Jana.
To be honest, it's never easy to see spirits and stuff, especially if it's not something you're used to. Like, obviously, like with myself, I've been brought up to be able to do that. So I've got used to it now. But there was a time when I used to be like you and be scared of them and didn't want them to be around me. And that. So they were really, really, really interesting stories, really scary stories. So
I saw something, Jana, I saw something like that when I was younger. It was like, I called it the Skin Man. But I saw it like a skinwalker. I used to walk home late at night. I didn't have a car when I was a teenager at that time. And this thing came out of the shrubs. It was tall. It had like a horns. But it looked, like you said, it looked like a skinwalker or a wendigo.
Yeah, floating.
Yeah, and it had a really, really weird smell. I mean, that's weird when you mentioned that.
They're meant to be. They're meant to smell quite off-putting. They're meant to smell really, really
rotting meat,
like rotting meat, sort of smell.
A mildew
like
smell.
Death, like
anyone that's sitting there and wondering what a wendigo is, it's something that's associated with certain witches. Okay, now apparently
it's shamanistic
and shaman and stuff. It's where people that are supposed to be spiritually open want to be put into a more powerful situation, so they take the trade of being a wendigo or a skinwalker, and what happens is this person turns into some horrible wolf monster looking creature, sometimes describing the way that you did, Curtis. They would have some sort of headdressing with like horns coming out of their head, and they've got like a overcoat and they've got a human body.
Yeah, like a trench coat.
Or female.
A trench coat is what mine was wearing. I did forget to mention he had a trench coat on.
This thing
I can't personally say that I've ever experienced a wendigo. I've not experienced a wendigo. I've heard a lot about them, and I've come across a few people that think that they've seen a wendigo. And obviously, my partner being native.
There's an ancient Indian site here that's a like replica, not Teotihuacan. I forget the name of it, but it's got like pyramids. There are pyramids near me.
Yeah.
They're lesser known because no one thinks that Georgia has those, but that's here, the National Indian Monument. I live in Macon, Georgia, so.
Yeah, there's in Evergreen Cemetery in Owego, New York, there was an Indian Mohawk maiden that died in a railroad disaster in the 1800s, and I went and did a investigation there, and I seen her, but I seen a quick she was in her wedding dress or something, and she just peeked around the tombstone. But there's a lot of native, Indians and ghostly figures and stuff that I had seen up there. It's got a long history of paranormal activity up there. I've seen a lot. Every time I go there, I see something. And like you said, Gianna, with the skinwalker thing, that thing was tall. It had a horn. I could hear it running after me. I'm telling you, that thing ran after me. I could feel the breath.
Yes, it attacked
But
me at my mom's when I was 15, but I've been seeing it till I was like 18.
it attacked you?
Yeah, they are meant to be quite dangerous. They are meant to be rather dangerous than that.
Yes.
And, like I've had experiences where I've seen very nasty energies, and some of them have looked very similar to that, but I wouldn't say that it's a Wendigo. Like I don't know if Wendigos really exist over here, because there isn't really a lot of native blood over here. So I'm not sure if it would be a Wendigo over here, but I've definitely seen similar things, but not exactly.
Maybe a banshee or something.
I felt if I stopped, it would have just caught up with me.
Maybe.
Yes, I seen it in reflections. That's how I see it. And I felt breath on my neck before. And I got so scared, I burned all my witchcraft books. My mom was like, you better burn your witchcraft book right now. And I tried to burn it and it would not catch on fire. It was just a book from like Barnes and Noble. The pages turned black and the letters turned white on the pages that I was trying to burn with lighter fluid.
Yeah, well, but that's because magic is magic, and you could, with those sort of things, you can't burn them sort of things.
Right.
And
well, I was a novice at that time.
This experience and stuff would not have been to do with your faith. It's just something that is obviously there and is situated to that place. And the one that you're talking about, Curtis, very much sounds like a like it could be definitely be one of those spirits, like a vengeful spirit.
Right.
Yeah, it was it was way out in the hills where we used to live when we were younger, and it was this one area we used to live by was a place called Lover's Lane. They knew it as Lover's Lane, where 4 teenagers had died in their car up there. It was a little lane. It was like a clearing in the woods where everybody would go up there and party, and they died in their cars up there. And we used to play up there as kids. One time we were, walking up in there in the lane, and alongside this huge pine tree, something was standing there in black period clothing from the 17th century. It had a white ashy face, and it began to turn and look my way. And I told my brother not to look at it in the eyes, but the thing had a smell to it, like sulfur. It was like a sulfur smell. Dark eyes, really white, almost like face paint white. I mean, it was huge, it was tall, standing there against a tree. We started running. I cut my ankle, but when we looked back, it was gone. But it had like this period clothing, like from the 17th century. It was a very weird looking thing. I don't know. I never seen anything like that. Was it a female? It was a male.
A male?
A big, tall, huge male from the 17th century clothing. And just kind of like just staring off like it was like in a time warp, or it had come through from a different time, and was just standing there admiring the clearing. And and then when we ran up in the lane, it kind of like heard us and started to turn and look real slow, cool as a cucumber. Didn't very cool acting. It wasn't scared, it wasn't startled. It just I never seen anything like that before or again since then. But it was really, it smelled just like sulfur.
Yeah, and sulfur smells like sulfur or rotten flesh or eggish smells and things like that are never really good. That's normally a sign of like negative energies. So it could very well have been an energy that was connected to nature, so it appreciates nature but doesn't like human, like it or it could have just been a normal spirit that just isn't very nice.
Well, I was always in nature, and I landscaped and mowed lawns, and I used to do koi ponds when I was younger. I used to, make koi ponds and put the creek bed in, and I actually used to get the koi and put them in there. But I was into nature a lot, fishing and hunting, and I seen a lot of things hunting, you guys too. I'm telling you, I don't know if it was a Bigfoot or what it was, but I was out hunting one year when I was younger, and It peeked behind a tree at me. It was probably about 8 feet in size. It had hair, like real dark hair, and looked at me and started to come out around the tree. And I could smell something then too. I had a smell, but it looked like a Bigfoot, but I could not see. Did
it smell offish? Like smell like
It smelled like
smelly
wet
dog
hair,
rotten hay or wet dog.
Like,
yeah,
or
like
like a dog
hair,
smell.
yeah, Jana, like hair, like like dog, like really dirty dog hair,
yeah,
but yet
that does sound like a Sasquatch to me. That sounds like Bigfoot
or Mossman or Grassman.
Mothman's another one that does that sort of thing.
I think I have a Mothman on my property. My husband saw it. I kept telling him, yeah, it's this black thing, and it just comes in, and like what happens, you'll be sitting outside. We have a lot of bats. There was like 20 bats in the attic. I can't believe he went and got them with his hands and brought them out and had them in a bag and let them out. And there's this big thing, and it's so silly sounding because it looks like a man is holding a sheet, like a fitted sheet with his feet in it, like a Batman. And it's about 5 feet long, and you'll see it just kind of glide through the trees because I'm on like a 2.5 acre property. And the next thing you know, it's real swampy here. I don't live in Louisiana, but this is just a really swampy kind of area of Georgia. It's we have the Altmogie River here, and it's swampy. Just the fog right after it comes, you'll see this fog will like roll in, and you'll see it. That's how low in the land I live, and you'll see this fog kind of come in. And like I said, this whole area, a woman had her ex-husband and his brand new wife murdered, and they found the bodies out here, and they just did an episode of Snapped about it not too long ago.
Yeah, no, and there's a lot of people that have said that they think they've witnessed like the Mothman, that they thought they've seen something that would resemble on Mothman and that, and it's a strange creature. It is most definitely something that I do believe in. There's been a lot of stories, but there's like a lot of controversial behind him as well, isn't it? To what he is like. Apparently, if he's seen turning up and things like that, he's meant to be like the sign of things to come, isn't it? Like disasters and stuff like that. He's meant to turn up when good things.
Usually, turn up when you're not ready for it. You know what I mean?
The last time I saw him, he got real close. I don't know what he's doing. I've lived here for about 3 years that I've seen it. I've seen it probably 6 times. And I've had 2 other friends who didn't know each other. We was just drunk one New Year's, and this guy was here, a friend of mine, and I didn't say anything. And he just goes, "Oh my God, what was that?" It had just swooped in right on the edge of my deck, and he saw it. And I was like, I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew it wasn't crazy.
You try to get that camera, man. Get a picture of it.
I think I'm going to put an actual like camera that records all the time out there and just review the footage.
I would, because you'd probably catch some really good stuff doing that. Like I like to do that. Like after the show tonight, I'm going to be doing a UFO watch, and I just put the phone outside, face it up to the sky, put spirit box and that on, and I'll sit in my bedroom because I'm not interfering. But you'll find that a lot of activity and a lot of things get caught when you're not actually doing the investigation. You're not around it. Like you leave it running and stuff, you know, even though when I've got a live show, I can't not watch it. I have to, because I get so excited in case I catch something.
Oh yeah.
You know, but yeah, I would do that. Like just record it, like just stick it like facing towards that direction, like the area that he's normally seen flying, and see if you catch any big winged man flying across your glass. And just
I don't know what.
how are you going to explain that? No military or anything could turn around and say that's a balloon that floats in the air, can you? Like a bloody full blown man flying.
That's right.
Oh. No,
but some people will come out with some really stupid suggestions for what you might be seeing. You know what I mean? And you know, we've heard it with the UFOs. Like they'll come out with saying it's a balloon or it's a plastic bag. We've even heard the back end of a duck's bum for a UFO. Like, really? Are you going to get any more lamer than that? How can you not tell the difference between a UFO?
You never know what you're going to get on security cameras. You know
I saw one of those, and my camera, it was right when they enacted the law that you can't touch your phone, and I hadn't gotten the take a picture, put it away down pat, and I saw a silver ball in the sky that just popped out of a cloud. I was like, what is that? And they just popped back in, and I was like, it was so unreal to I mean, I've seen things before, but this was at like 9:30 in the morning and it was daytime. And there,
Oh
and
yeah,
it just
they
was.
are seen it in the daytime, but you really have to look or be
I mean,
like
it looked
taking
like a
notice.
silver egg and it was like reflecting the cloud. It was very, very, I mean, I just couldn't believe. I got to work and told my boss because he believes in everything as well. And then he couldn't believe that I saw it. You know, it was just so unreal to see it in real life. I wish I could have
Well, we
gotten a
used to have a
photograph.
security camera, and we
Keep
used to
looking.
tape. I don't know if it was, there were orbs. You know, these orbs that were all the way around. It was just our house would be circled with these orbs. There, we had this one orb that would come up to the camera. It would look into the camera, and it looked like it had actually a little face on it, but it used to up and go down and around, and then it would take off. But it did it for about a few weeks. We taped them. We actually put it on DVD, but we just never could explain these orbs, you know. And a couple of weeks after that, you know, they just stopped showing up, and that was it. I never seen them again. But that one orb, honest to God, it used to come right up to the camera and look right in that camera and look right at me. It looked like it had a face, and it would look right at us, you know, in the camera. And I never seen nothing like that. I never seen them again after that.
Orbs
The
are
orbs
fascinating. A
never
lot of
were
people
around again after that.
they try to say that orbs are not real and they're dust on it. Yes, fair enough. Some of the orbs can be dust, but you can normally tell the difference between a load of dust going around a room and an intelligent spirit connection. You know, like there is no dust that changes direction and stops in front of a camera. It's going to keep falling. You know what I mean? So like when you're getting
Right.
that sort of evidence where it's actually moving and it's hovering and it's looking, and you can see shapes in it and things like that. There are, you know, orbs are real and orbs are to do with spiritual
I'll
energy.
get some
But there are
videos.
other orbs out there as well, but you can normally tell the difference. Like,
I mean, a piece of dust that thinks, it actually thinks and moves, has direction, and you
it
know,
wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, you
yeah,
know, if it's dust, like a dust orb, it's not going to sit there in front of the camera, and it's certainly not going to sit there and start changing direction. It can't do it. No.
No.
You know what I mean? So that's a very interesting one as well. So, do you want to get onto some of your stories, Curtis? I know you had some poetry ones. Or do
I
you want
probably
to
have
do
a couple
first?
here. The one I was telling you about, the Lover's Lane one, but there's one when we were younger. My brother and I used to go to our grandparents' house, and we used to go there sometimes to get candy and get ready for Halloween. Well, this day we went down, we got some Halloween candy and stayed at our grandparents' house. But we always used to take a walk down by the river, and we were walking down towards that way, the old house down by the river, and this couple, there was an older couple that was sitting on the back of their pickup truck, and it looked like they had candy apples in there and, you know, treats and stuff. So we walked over to them, and they gave us guys a couple candy apples, and we didn't think nothing of it. We said thank you very much. Took them back home to our grandparents' house, and we started to unwrapping. They were in cellophane. Started unwrapping, and I almost took a bite of my apple, and the apple had tacks and nails in it, and I don't know what would have happened if I would have chewed down on that apple, man. I would have really been in some trouble. But my grandparents took us back around to see if we could find the old couple, but they were gone, just like they disappeared. It was weird, but it happened. It was a strange tale out there.
That's really scary, especially when it's actually living people and they're doing that. So obviously they had something about children. They didn't like children or something. There must have been something to make them do things like that. And to be putting screws and nails and stuff
Yeah,
into a toffee apple, most definitely would say that they had some issues. Most definitely.
They look normal, you know. They look like your grandparents, but
Yeah, and most of the people like that normally do look normal. You wouldn't even be able to tell that they're actually dangerous or there's something about them. Like a lot of people that are like that are very good at hiding that they've got something wrong with them, you know. And it's the same with like serial killers and murderers. You wouldn't always think that some of the people that have been found out to be serial killers would be serial killers because they've got a life and they're respected and they've been known in the community to be caring and things, and they've got an opposite side to them, you know. Look,
Child
Just be
sacrifice.
deceiving.
Yeah, there's another story there when I was a really young guy. I was a really young little guy, about 6, 7 years old. And my father used to work in a foundry in Sayre, Pennsylvania. He used to come home late, the graveyard shift, and I would wait up for him most of the nights. But this night, I waited up for him. He came home, and he seen a UFO go into the river because we lived next to the river at that time. And the UFO actually come down from the sky, slowly went into the river. He actually went and got a shotgun and ran down with his shotgun down to the river. Just I don't know what he was going to do with that shotgun, but he reported it to the newspaper the next day. I still have that newspaper clipping somewhere. I don't know. I have it somewhere, and he reported to the newspaper, and it was in the papers. He swore what he saw and everything else. It was something. He didn't have a picture of it or anything, but it actually disappeared into the river. And that's he never seen another UFO. That was the one he seen all them years ago.
Yeah, a lot of there's been a lot of sightings where UFOs have been seen going into water, and it is believed, and from bits that I've picked up, that water is one of the best ways and places for them to be able to hide away and can't be traced because of being like around here or anything. They will use things such as water and stuff to hide away and to get to safety and stuff like that. I do believe that maybe they've even got some of their own, nationalities under the water. Like there might be a home under there or something that we don't know about. It's UFOs are very unique.
Yeah, there's or maybe they have a little community in there somewhere. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like there could be a little city that we can't see, because if you think about it, if they can survive up in space, they can survive in water. You know what I mean? So there's no doubt about that. So,
where there's water, there's usually UFOs a lot of times. Where there's UFOs, there's Bigfoot a lot of times. So it's kind of weird.
And you'll find that a lot of people that say, like, a lot of people that have had like UFO experiences and that will say that there is a lot of paranormal phenomena after. They will have paranormal experiences or something of the supernatural, not just through the experience with the object itself, but strange things continue to happen after as well for a while. And that is most definitely true. From my experience, I had some weird feelings after for a while, and the paranormal activity here increased. I'm used to it already, but it become more for a while. But it is a lot of people that have had the experiences have said they've experienced some sort of paranormal activity at the same time. And Skinwalker Ranch says about that a lot. Like whenever they get some sort of activity to do with the UFOs and the UAPs, they will have the increase of paranormal activity on the base as well. So most definitely. I just think
I
that
can watch that show. It's pretty good.
So have you got any more stories you want to share, Curtis, or would you like me to put up the videos that you sent?
I'm pretty good with the stories. I have more for another time, but I just
okay, right. I'm gonna put up the videos. I'm just gonna share screen, Chris. So if you could just put that up for me, that would be awesome. Now I've got to remember which ones it is because I don't want to be putting our stream up. Here we go. Let's start with that one. Right, so these are a couple of little stories that Curtis sent over that are spooky and for the Halloween show. So hope you enjoy them, guys.
Experience
true tales
in the clearing. My brother and I had a strange experience happen to us back in the 1970s. I was about 12. My brother was 9. We used to go to this place just up from our house everyone knew as Lover's Lane. We used to go up there to play a lot with our toy cars and G.I. Joes. A few years before that, 4 teenagers died in their car by carbon monoxide poisoning. Our next door neighbor found them one morning and the car was still running. There were cops all over that morning and it was in the newspaper. That place always had a strange feeling to it, like someone was always watching you. On this day, it was a nice, warm, sunny day. We did our chores, got our things around, and started up to the lane. There was a little roadway leading up to the clearing. We almost got to our destination when I looked toward the large pine tree on the right side of the clearing. Something was standing there. Its head was turned the other way, just staring off. It had a black cape, white, ashy face with black under its eyes, and it was in period clothing, like from the 17th century or something. As my brother and I were looking at it, its head started to slowly turn to look our way. I told my brother not to look it in the eyes, and we slowly started to back away. I told my brother to run and don't look at it. Then, as fast as we could, we ran down the lane on the way out. We got to the road and we kept running and running down the road. I stepped in a hole along the road and sliced my ankle pretty badly. Finally, we got to our driveway. My brother and grandmother got a big white bucket. It looked like a bucket of blood. We were frantic and told our grandmother. I don't know if she believed us or not, but what we saw was almost like what my father described years before in the graveyard back in the 1950s. My brother and I still tell the story, and I will never forget it.
Interesting. Next one. Enjoy, guys.
I rode the bus home at the end of the school day. Sometimes I wouldn't take the bus, and I would walk home after school. On this day, I had to stay after, so it was a little later than usual, and it was a long walk, and I decided to take the long way along the other side of the hill. It was a nice day, so I started on my way. I was walking slowly, and I would stop to sit and rest on the way. It must have been getting around 5 o'clock p.m. by this time, and I finished the highway part of my walk. I started walking the huge mountain up home. It must have been at least 8 miles up. I had to rest at times just to catch my breath. I could really feel it in my legs, and I couldn't run if I had to, but I continued. It was early fall, about the last part of September, and it started to get dark and chilly. I was really starting to walk as fast as I could, but the damn mountain went on forever. Just as I started to reach the top, the moon was shining bright. My legs were like rubber, and I was hearing what sounded like bare feet slapping on the pavement. They were getting faster and faster, and I didn't even want to look back to see what it was. Then all of a sudden, something sprang out of the brush behind me. At first, I thought it was a deer, but when I slowly turned my head to see what it was, I could not believe what I was seeing. It looked like a human with no skin, just the muscles showing. I used to call it the skin man.
That's a creepy one. I think I would have been pretty scared if I see that. Well,
I have that Halloween poem for you I wrote for the show if you want to hear it.
Yeah, let me do this last video and then you can do that, and then I will do a couple of my ones as well. Just get the videos out of the way because then we're okay. So this is the last one.
Experience number 9, the long road home. In the early 1980s, I was young, a teenager just getting started in the workforce. About my 3rd or 4th job, I worked for Pizza Hut in Sayre, making pizzas, subs, etc. I worked there for 6 to 7 months, and sometimes I didn't have a ride home from work. so I'd have to walk home late at night a lot of the time. I had to work until 1 a.m. or until closing on this night. I knew it would be a long walk back home through long, dark gullies and very dark roads in the country. I got to work, finished my shift like I usually did, but for some reason, I had a strange feeling in the pit of my stomach about the walk home. I punched my time card. I was finally finished working for the day, said my goodbyes to fellow workers, kind of hoping one of them would offer me a ride, but getting a ride from Sayre to East Talmadge Hill was hardly possible. Sometimes I'd take a cab if I finished early, but that wasn't an option on this night. I started walking the long walk home. It usually took me a few hours before I got to the hill. I walked through the side streets and alleys, finally getting to Waverly, New York, and start the long walk, or hike, I should say, up Talmadge Hill. It was very dark up these roads, and you always heard noises and weird sounds coming from the woods on both sides of the road. On this night, I was very tired, and I don't think I could have run from anything if it did pop out in front of me. I was coming to the scariest part of my walk home. Down in this gully, you go down and up this hill, past Lover's Lane, where some teenagers had died in their car some years before. Always gave me the creeps and cold chills, like someone or something was watching me. I just kept walking faster and faster, my heart pounding a mile a minute. As I got right up to Lover's Lane, I kept hearing walking in the leaves to the left side of the road. I had Lover's Lane on the right of me and something walking through the leaves on my left side. Home was just down the road. I could see the porch light. When I would walk, it would walk. And when I stopped, it stopped, whatever it was. I thought it might be a deer, but when I looked over to my left, I saw these big, gold, glowing eyes. They blinked at me as I stared at it. I've been in the woods a lot and never saw anything like that. The eyes were about 8 feet high. That's how I could tell it was no deer. I started to run. It ran right behind me. The leaves sounded like an army was behind me. I thought I was going to die. My heart was beating out of my chest. I finally made it to the porch, sat down, and laid back and rested for 20 to 30 minutes before I went in. I was so tired. I hopped in bed and went to sleep. The next day, I could not believe what happened the night before. It was one of the creepiest, scariest nights of my life. I never had a night like that again, and I hope I never will.
Scary, scary.
Yeah, no.
Excuse
So
me.
you said that you have a story, Curtis.
It's something I wrote just for this show for you, and it's called
lovely.
Halloween Night. And in the dark of night, ghosts and ghouls will creep through the side streets and alleyways. The dead will begin to walk and leave their graves. The leaves will start to move, and in the shadows, something will stare in your window. And as the fog starts to flow, the one becomes many when they all leave their tombs. Walking white figures with the moon their only light, the candles will go out to behold such a sight. A cold wind slams the door shut as we turn into bed on this Halloween night. Something simple I wrote for just you and the show tonight, though, Sherry.
That was absolutely awesome, and thank you so much. I'm very privileged to have had that, and I hope that you guys enjoyed that as well. Really interesting. I really like that. It really makes you feel like Halloween when you get these little spooky stories and poems coming out. So what I'm going to do now, because we've still got a little, I might just go a little bit over because I do want to do a couple of more of my stories. So I'm going to find another one. So here we go. And thank you to all my lovelies that are on panel for doing your bit and making tonight awesome. Babysitter and the bed. That sounds interesting. Let's have a listen to that one. The Babysitter and the Bed is a scary story about a rich woman who has a conversation on WhatsApp with a Mexican maid, Aurora. It is based on a story by Agatina author M. Crouch. Aurora, madam. Madam. What is it, Aurora? Is everything all right? Yes, ma'am. Well, no. Question mark. Is everything all right or not? Does it have something to do with the boys? Answer me, Aurora. Sorry, madam. I do not know where Kelly's phone. It takes me a long time to write, and my English is not so good. Madam, I am busy, Aurora. I'm not going to conserve with you in Spanish, so write quickly or do not write at all. Are the boys okay? Yes, madam. What is the problem? Good, more or less. You're going to drive me crazy. The children are fine or not. Please be clear. I can't waste my time with you. I told you at a very important dinner with my husband. It may be my last chance to get him back. The boys are not sleeping, shouting and crying. The baby cries too. And why are you bothering me with this? They say there is a ghost under the bed. They run out of the room and not want to go back. You are an absolute pain, Aurora. I don't know why I hired you. Sorry, madam, the boys not want to sleep in the room. Put them to sleep, Aurora. Tomorrow they have school and they won't get up. It's too late at night. They shouldn't be awake at this hour. But I not know what to do, madam. They're really scared. They say the ghost is under the bed and wants to hurt them. They say they see the hand come out from under the bed and it tries to grab the baby. My God, Aurora, you want me to kick you? Do you want me to leave you on the street to starve like you were a few days ago? No, madam. Well, then do what you have to do and do not bother me any more. Do you understand? Yes, madam. Sorry, madam. Madam? Now what, Aurora? For God's sake. The boys are crying still. They say the ghost crawled out from under the bed. It is a woman, they say. The boy gets out of the room. They do not want to go back in the room. Are you kidding me? Do you really want me to leave you out on the street? Here I am enjoying a beautiful dinner with my husband in the most exclusive restaurant in the city, and you are bothering me with nonsense. Sorry, madam. You really are worthless, Aurora. I deducted 50 from your salary. Make sure to remind me when I arrive home. But I also see something, madam. What do you see? Some eyes under the bed. It scared me a lot. Now we all in the kitchen. This is what I get for hiring someone as ignorant as you, that believes in things of stupid, ignorant people. Next time I shall hire someone who has a high school diploma or at least some sort of education. Sorry, madam, but it is true. There was some eyes under the bed. It must be a cat. It must be that the cat. I'm sure he just got scared by something and got himself stuck under there. Get the cat out of there and put the kids to sleep. I not think it is the cat, madam. Can you understand what I am saying? Are you an idiot? I'm telling you to take the cat out and put the boys to sleep, or this is going to be the last night you work in my house or in any other, because I'm going to make sure that no one will ever hire you again in your miserable life. I know a lot of people, Aurora. I am a very influential in the town. Do you understand? You lazy moron. Yes, madam. Sorry, madam. Now I take cat out and put kids to sleep. So, did you do what I ordered? Yes, ma'am. But it not work good. The boys are still crying and trembling with fear. The boys also, I calm myself. I go into the room and see it again, the ghost. I take a picture for you, believe me. God give me strength, Aurora. Send me the picture. I send you sent it to you. Wait, please. Let's see this supposed ghost. There it is, madam. You don't send me anything, you stupid woman. Are you incapable of doing anything? Sorry, ma'am, I send again. There, you see. How can I see it? You imbecile. You didn't send anything. Sorry, madam, I not know how to do it. Wait for me. I asked Josephine to do. Aurora, there he send it. It is already. You're kidding me, right? That is clearly the baby, Aurora. I'm sure it's just baby Anna hiding under the bed. No, madam. When I take the picture of baby in the kitchen, it is not she who is under the sheets. I am sick and tired of your nonsense, Aurora. This is the last time I am going to tell you. And be careful how you answer, because you've already annoyed me enough tonight. My dinner has been ruined because of your ignorance. Go and put the kids to sleep, and don't bother me with rubbish about ghosts under the bed. Do you understand me? Yes, madam. I do. Yeah, madam. Madam, are you there? Please answer. I have problem. Hello, please answer. I put boys in the room, as they say, but after a little time, they screaming and hitting things. When I go in, the baby not there no more. I asked Josephine, where is the baby? But he is very scared. His body trembling and his eyes wide open, but he points down to the bed again and again, pointing under the bed. I look for the baby everywhere, but not find. I should call police. Please, madam, answer. I called your cell phone, but you still not answer. Madam, madam. I fell asleep. My husband and I were celebrating our reconclusion. Well, fell asleep. What happened to the baby? She is already here. The baby appeared under in the bed. What the hell is going on, Aurora? I can't believe how incomplete you are. You cannot take care of 3 children for one night. I swear when I arrive home, I am firing you. You almost ruined my dinner. Besides being ignorant and stupid, you are useless as well. There is no need, madam. The girl says she take the baby. She take her to a very strange place, and she explained everything. She say you know her. What are you talking about? She says her name is Beatrice, and she asked us to cut the mattress in the room. What? I forbid you to do that, Aurora. Do not cut the mattress. I will call the police and have you arrested for destroying private property. I'll have you deported, Aurora. Do you understand? They will send you back where you come from. It is too late, madam. We already cut it. And look what we find inside. Aurora, she is Beatrice, the previous babysitter of the boys. She says she was mistress of your husband, and you discovered her and killed her and hide her under the mattress to bury later. This happened 2 days ago, but now she come back. Her spirit returned. Now she live in all of the beds. She says she wants revenge. Where you are now. Now you are at hotel with your husband, right? How do you know that? Beatrice, tell us. She says she is down in the hotel bed, listening to how you're breathing, feeling how you tremble, listening to your fear. Do you feel your husband's arms around you? Yes, behind you. His arms feel strong, no? Well, madam, it is not your husband who is hugging you. You must be logging into the... It's not your husband that is hugging you. Wow. That's rather creepy.
That is weird. Creepy.
Creepy.
And
Can you
guys
imagine
say,
that? You know, having your babysitter there and they phone you up saying that like there's something in your kid's bedroom and you're telling them to just go to bed and remove the cat from under the bed. Like, I wouldn't be the sort of person that would sit there and say that to my babysitter, you know what I mean? Because I'm very aware of these things existing. So I would be kind of like, right, send me the picture, let me know. My candles are flickering nuts now, just reading that one.
Seeing it was go.
I think the spirits enjoyed that. Literally, that like the flame went right up. I thought it was going to catch fire then. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it looked like it was going to.
Jenna, you're muted.
I was saying, I guess it's time to sleep on the couch tonight, not in the bed, so that way nothing holds on to you too much.
Well, yeah, I hope that it doesn't scare you guys, so you don't go getting in your beds and you think someone's going to take its arms out, and unless you've done something you're not telling us, then be prepared.
I'm afraid to go outside to take the garbage out tonight. I don't know. You never know.
Watch out
I
taking the
think we're all
garbage
going to be
out.
standing there with bags, and we're going to have all our rubbish bags to put in the wheelie bin. It's going to have like extra strong bricks inside it. So if anything comes in here, I get away.
Oh man.
But yeah,
We have some pretty. Not just that, we have some pretty weird neighbors around here. You better watch your butt around here.
It's the bin men. They're going to get you.
Yeah, we had the bin men here today, and like I think there's strange neighbours everywhere. I've got this woman down here at night. She'll walk like down the road, and she stares at the lampposts.
She's probably smoking
like
crack.
She's walking around, and I'm like,
peyote.
I said, "Are you all right?" And she's like, "Can't you hear them talking to me?" I said, "Hear what talking to you?" She goes, "The lampposts are talking to me." I'm like,
I heard, isn't there a movie about that? A woman. There was like a movie or something where somebody was saying that the lights were talking to them.
The Watcher or something?
But I don't know
what movie it was. I can't remember.
And she'll be walking down the road, and she's looking at the lampposts, and she'll stop.
That's really
starts
strange.
Having conversations with them, and I'm like, I went out there one day because I was like wondering what she was doing, and I was like, "You okay, love?" And she's like, "Can't you hear them talking to me?" And I'm like, "Hear what talking to you?" She's like, "The lampposts. They've got voices. They're talking to me." And I'm like,
at least she's staring at the lamppost and not in your window.
Well, yeah, there is that. But I have had spirits look at me in the window. I have most definitely had that. I've done it where I've got up one night and I've moved my curtains. I've heard banging, and there was a spirit's face in the window.
It's a lot of times. Sometimes if I'm downstairs, I'll hear foot, and if there's nobody upstairs, I'll hear something walking upstairs. There's nobody up there.
Because I'm in flat. I'm in a flat, so I'm a bottom flat, but I've got one next to me, one above, and one right above me here. And when he goes to work and that, sometimes I'll be sitting there and I can hear somebody walking around upstairs, but he's not there. And I actually said to him one day, he goes, "Oh, you've heard it then?" And I'm like, "Heard what?" He goes, "What, you've heard like the footsteps and that going around in my hallway in my front room?" I'm like, "Yeah, I hear it all the time."
Yeah.
So the same outside. I said, "My wheelie bin will get thumped and it sounds like it's being moved." He goes, "Yeah, it's been an ongoing thing." He goes, "I've experienced it, and I have a lot of stuff happening here, but that's my abilities as well." But yeah.
Oh yeah, wow. Sometimes I'll see a shadow. I'll be out in the kitchen smoking a cigarette or something, and I'll see a shadow, walk by me. But I was going to introduce you guys to my cat Salem. She's a black cat, but
I was going to bring Saberhagen on, and
that's cool. You can put her on if
you want. I have 2 black cats.
I got a story to tell you about that, my cat Salem, because when I got her, before I got her, I had a male, right? And his name was Salem. Well, he passed away in 2016, and he was 18 years old when he passed away. He grew up with my son. But we went to the cat play for Stray Haven, where they have cats and kittens, and we were looking in the cat area. And this one little black cat was down there looking at me like she was pouting, wanted me to take her home in the worst way. So we looked up, and the name tag said Salem, but a female. So we adopted her right away, took her home. She acts just like my male Salem that we had. Acts just like her, but a female. But that's another kind of a different story. I mean, I don't know. I just love my cats. I love my black cat, Salem. So it's weird.
I love cats. Like, I've got dogs. So I'm a dog and a cat person. I love dogs and cats, but I have had cats. I've had black cats. I think they're absolutely beautiful. There's a lot of superstition behind black cats. A lot of people don't like to entertain them because they believe they're bad luck. Witches don't believe that black cats are bad luck. They're actually good omens, and they're absolutely beautiful. So
well, my black cat Salem is buried out back, right? He's buried out back. I made a little casket for him and everything, and I buried him out back with his little mouse and his blanket and stuff. And a few years ago, we had a big electrical storm, right? And it knocked 5 of her TVs out, but it didn't hit the house, but it hit his grave.
Oh
It's the
wow.
strangest.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and it hit his grave. It was right there by his grave. But there's a huge pine tree that was by his grave. Knocked the tree down and hit his grave and knocked 5 of our TVs out. But I swear to this day that cat protected us. I don't know. It's
It could.
I don't know.
It sounds very much so, because it could have quite easily had the tree go down on your house, and it didn't, did it? So that is a bit
No,
random. And they do
no.
still look after you even when they're not here. They can do amazing things. So
Oh yeah, I hear him
it's
all
like
the
he was
time.
watching over you.
I'll be out in the kitchen, I'll feel him brush across my leg, and there's nothing here. And I know Salem's upstairs or something, my other Salem, but I'll feel him brush my leg, brush by my leg. And that's what he always used to do, brush by my leg, or, he'd touch my back leg or something. He'd just letting me know he was there. This one does the same thing. But a female. Maybe he came back as a female.
They do say that sometimes, so like certain things can come back as something else. So it kind of resembles the same thing, but maybe a different sex or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you get the same with people. Like you'll have people that are born and they remember somebody from a past life, and they're actually that person. They remember their life from before, and they'll speak about it and say about things that, it does happen. Reincarnation.
Yeah, I believe in that.
Yeah, definitely. And it's even like it's Halloween, but it's really good to have like stories about these sort of things. It's sometimes it's not always about reading really scary stories. It's like talking about things as well, unusual things. This is what Halloween is. It's about being unusual. It's about creepy things. It's about ghosts. It's about everything. Anything you can think of that's going to come out and get you on Halloween is going to come and get you. So watch out for the zombies as well, guys. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Literally.
definitely.
They're coming out the graves, literally.
Definitely. Watch out.
That is officially the only day you will see a living, walking zombie. Okay.
You're
So,
walking
Right.
across the street.
A real
like,
zombie.
Yeah, coming across the graveyards.
Or watch big
And even
bats.
some of them do look like that. I've had experiences around Halloween where I've been up to churches and stuff like that, and they seem to act a lot different to what they do like in normal everyday life, like when I see them and that. And I've always found that over Halloween they seem to have a weird effect to them. And a few of them always seemed like a little bit docile. And when they're actually walking towards me, it does look like a load of zombies coming towards me. But it's where they're waking up into that time, because it's that time of year. And they're like, and I'm like, why the hell are you doing that? You're trying to creep me out or something? And they're like, oh, we're trying to wake up, like, because, but they do.
I think that's what wakes it up too, because this time of year everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about stories or ghost stories, spooky movies. Next thing you know, things start to generate and energy.
I have yet to have experienced though Michael Jackson's Thriller coming on and the ghosts dancing in the middle of the graveyard to Thriller. That would be sick.
Me neither.
Would you imagine?
I ain't seen that yet. No.
Who's bad? And they were like, oh my god!
I love the poem at the end of that.
I've got a live show for you. It's called Thriller, and they'd be like, what? And you've got all the ghosts standing in the line doing that, the bits that they do.
I got drunk. I got drunk watching that video quite a few times. Thriller. Oh yeah.
And they do like music and stuff like that. I remember a few times where I used to go out on investigations, and when I could feel them watching me, and that I'd come out with that bloody song. I've got that feeling somebody's watching me, and you'll hear them laughing on the bloody music box.
Yeah, I like that song.
Like, you know what I mean? Do do do, and they're like laughing away. It's so funny, and that would be so cool if you could just walk to a graveyard and actually see real life spirits doing the Thriller dance. Wouldn't that be sick?
Well, we don't know. They might be doing it, and we can't.
They
see
probably
them
are doing it. You know what I mean? Like, woo, let's move on.
Yeah, right behind us doing all that stuff. You know what I mean? We don't know, but they're probably right there. Or they're probably poking their tongue out as, you can't see me, man. I can see you.
The thing is I do see them. So I would see if they're doing it. But
I bet the Almond Brothers are saying that when I visit their grave. Like, you can't see me, man. I'm down there, hanging out with them.
Yeah, that's a cool graveyard down there.
I'm used to seeing spirits, so for me it would just be really funny. I'd find it amusing, but I think it'd be really cool for people to see that. Then why is there not any spirits that do the Thriller dance on
I don't
Halloween?
know. Maybe they're trying to stay clear of that Thriller. You know what I mean? They're trying to stay clear of Thriller.
Well,
You
they're
know what I
probably
mean?
sitting there thinking we're already scary enough to a lot of people. We better not scare them anymore. You know what I mean? Imagine them come flying up out the graves and
Yeah.
back down
Hey.
again. What the hell's going
Hey,
on here?
them ghosts gave me
Sherry,
a
I
bad
hate to cut it
reputation.
short, but I have to hop off of here. Thank
Okay,
you so
darling.
much for having me, and thanks to
Thank
everybody in the
you.
comment box. I hope to join you guys again soon. Curtis, it was great to talk to
Definitely.
you in person.
Bye,
Thank you
Jana.
guys
Good
so much,
meeting
and
you.
happy Halloween and
Happy
Samhain to
Halloween, Jana.
everyone.
Lots of love, sweetheart. Thank you. We'll get you up again. So yeah, an interesting banner. We've had a lot of fun and stuff, guys, but it is 10:45. We have been on for an hour and 15 minutes. So you've had some spooky stories and some creepy everyday life things that have happened to people. You've had some very interesting stories of experiences that Curtis
I had a
and
good time. It was
everyone
really,
has
really
had.
fun.
It was a absolutely cool stream. Please make sure that you tune in for the shows over the weekend as well with Chris and Dakota. They're both at 10 p.m. UK time, Saturday and Sunday. We have got a medium and one of her friends coming on tomorrow, and then there's another cool show on Sunday. I'm going to be doing a UFO show tonight or Saturday. I might go out tonight depending on the neighbours, because the neighbours are still quite loud and music's going at the minute. I don't want that interfering with my show. So if I don't do it tonight, it'll be tomorrow, guys. So keep an eye out for that as well.
I'll be watching.
Obviously, Halloween's coming. So on Sunday in the evening, after the show that Chris and Dakota have done, or just before, I will be doing a live music show, because I like to do music and stuff on Halloween. So I'll be playing my drums and stuff like that and dress myself up. Then on Halloween, we're going to be doing some spells to give you guys luck and any other things you're needing help in, and just doing what witches do best, I guess. So join me for my shows on Sunday and Sunday and Monday as well for Halloween. So like I said, look out for the boys on Saturday and Sunday as well. And I'm more than likely going to do my UFO one tomorrow, but if not, I will message on Facebook to let you know if I'm doing it tonight. So just keep an eye out for me at some point, guys. So lots of love and light and blessings to all of you. Thank you for tuning in. A big shout out to all of our sponsors, supporters, and all of the people that come in and support us every day, including you, my angels in the room. Thank you to Chris and Dakota, and to my lovely panelists that came up with me today and done some awesome shows. Lots of love to all of you. Would you like to say anything quickly, Curtis?
Just that I had one heck of a time, and I want to do a music show, Sherry.
Yeah, that would be really awesome. We'll sort something out, and it'd be really good, because I do like to do a lot of that. So from us, enjoy the rest of your weekend and have the most amazing Halloween, guys, and check us out on our shows. And we'll see you all very, very soon. So stay spooky, and remember that when you go to sleep, those spirits creep, and they're always around you. And we'll see you all very soon. Merry parting.
Be sure to visit baldandbonkers.net for all of our amazing projects and sneak peeks of what is to come.